Oh, look, today I thought I was really obviously disappointed with the game, disappointed with the result. To lose by 100 plus points is very disappointing, obviously. So, look, when you come into the game and you think, or you have a way that you want to play or a style you want to play, I just thought we didn't execute that, and it was really disappointing. Yeah, I thought Jackson worked into the game fairly well. He took a couple of really nice marks and presented up at the footy really well. He's obviously a strong boy, and I thought both Witts and Segler did okay in the ruck. Both have put a bit more time into their game on the training track and whatever over the last few weeks, and certainly we can see that the weekend's not done. Every time we go to the footy is an opportunity to educate ourselves and an opportunity for our young fellas to learn. So tomorrow at the Gold Coast game, we've organised all the boys to sit in a corporate box together. They'll be doing a little bit of homework or a little bit of education on players that play in similar positions. We'll get them to watch players, and then we'll also get them to watch areas of the ground that we want to continue to develop in. So, look, it'll be a good day for them. I'm interested to see what they come back with.
Our senior side to play in the Gold Coast today, and we've got these young guys in. It's a good chance to get them to look at our structures and how we work within those structures. So we've divided up the group here within backs, forwards and mids, and we just give them a running sheet, and we get them to write down all the strengths of our structures and the way we're playing the game, what we can do better, and observations of an individual player in those structures as well. Okay, but for the first quarter, that's what we're going to look at the divisions. And the second quarter, Stags will explain about looking at individual players within either the Collingwood side or Gold Coast. The VFL plays the same structures, same game plan as the AFL does. The reason why we do that is so that when it's time for them to be called up into the AFL team, is that they can fit straight in without any hesitation.
So now we are officially underway, and Wood, one of the late changes for Collingwood in the ruck. Bennell gives it up to Wiles, and they get the clearance. Carmichael Hardy might go for goal from 50. It's all about the roll, the bounce, the trickle, and almost the top of the deck from Lynch. Touched according to the umpire.
So what have Gold Coast done pretty well here? Early. Locked us down pretty quickly.
Cloaked the target. Front spot, and it was a 2-on-1 in the end. Thomas tries to keep it alive. He did keep it alive to his own advantage. Flicks it over the top. And there's the first goal for Jamie Elliott in AFL footy. Meaningful part of the game. Donak to Maxwell to Beams. And they are beaming right now. Goldsack pushed his man out. Free kick. No. Okay, it's close ball.
So it was pretty good working together. But every now and then you've got to lead up with the ball kicker.
And he hit that sweep. His first of the afternoon.
What have you noticed about us? Been pretty patient down back a little bit. Just waiting for the one to open up.
We're just trying to get the game on our terms.
Yep. They're fourth on the ladder coming into this round, but they could be equal top tonight. Collingwood with a win. That's how big this game is. At a quarter time, the game is not enormous.
Any observations from some players?
Chad's been a good target at holding his ground from the contest, and Dawsey's holding his marks as well, so that's been handy.
Yep. Next, mids.
We're smashing them around the clearances, in particular centre bounces and around the ground. With the chewy conditions, the mids have been really clean. Their spread from the contest has also been pretty good. Just a couple of things they could tighten up on is Gold Coast have come through the corridor a fair bit and chopped us up through there. So just tighten and defend the corridor a bit more, and the game should be over.
Gold Coast for Solo, bangs it. Gee, got plenty of shoe on it. It's long and it bounces through. Side bottom, Beams long to the square. This bounces well. Williams made it his. Harley Williams gets his first goal in AFL footy. Daisy Thomas on the move. Goals. That is sparkling. Everything he does when he's in is a work of art. Bounces it back towards Didak and it works. Didak on the stand. He's got the magic back. For a 78-point margin, Goldsack long. Could have a shot. No one in front of him. Has another bounce. Runs inside 50. Says eat my dust. Hands it over in the end. Jamie Elliott finishes it off with a big exclamation point. Gathers, gives it up to Megan on the siren. 7 wins in a row for Collingwood.
So, Yags, we'll start with you. Who did you have again and how did they go?
Oh, well, I had Simon Buckley. There was one little mistake he made, was just when the Shaw kicked the goal. His starting point was a bit off, but besides that, it was good. Clean hands. His work ethic was good, so yeah.
Cribbo?
Yeah, I had Maxi, and he gets around his teammates when they have done something positive, and even if they've done something negative, he still gets around them. And I said he plays in front a lot, so good captain's role, I think.
Yeah, it's been good. You know, we got them to work in their divisions and tell us how their particular division worked out today. So, you know, they gave us a lot of information and watched the game pretty closely is what was intended. So, you know, the best way for them to learn is to pick up points from the best players out there. So the more we get them out here and watch those particular players is just going to be beneficial for themselves.
I'd be hoping that the boys up in the box today would get a clear understanding and get a clear view of obviously the way that we want to play, and probably a really good example of when we get it right and when we play the game on our terms, what the result can look like. So I think today would be a really good learning opportunity for them, and hopefully they're going to get out of it. We're lucky enough that a few of them have had a taste, and now they understand the intensity required and the quickness of the game, and hopefully that's really whet the appetite for those guys. They can see how close it is, and they can obviously touch it. And really excited. Hopefully that more get their opportunity. If they play well, they'll be presented with that, and hopefully they take it with both hands.
Yes, he's in outstanding form, and he joins us on the club. Dayne, welcome, mate. So you've been in great form, averaging 32 disposals in the last 6 weeks. I bet you didn't even know that.
No, I knew that. Yeah.
So well done on your form, but I want to go back a little bit and talk about your early years, because it's an interesting case. You were actually born in Victoria. I'm not quite sure how many people would know that, but you're only 4 when your family moved to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, not many people would know I was actually born in Victoria and spent 4 years of my life here. So I was born in Yarrawonga. It's probably about 3 hours away from here. But back then it was tiny, and I think it's growing and growing every time I go back there. So I moved to the Gold Coast when I was 4, and I spent all those years there until I was drafted and come back to Victoria.
Now, you were lucky enough to be accepted into a school of excellence focusing in on football, which must have been, right up your alley, given your love for the game.
Yeah, well, I wasn't the greatest student at school anyway, so having AFL as one of my subjects worked out perfect for me. And I lived in Southport and I went to school at Palm Beach, so it was an hour bus ride for me every morning. But it was certainly, to hone in on your skills, and I spent, I think it was about an hour every day as a subject learning AFL, and they had it for other sports as well. I think there was a surfing group, there was a rugby league group, and it was a school that strive for excellence in sport. So I was lucky enough to get a call, and they asked me to go there, so I did, and yeah, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Now, I want to talk about drafting time. You had the chance, of course, to stay on the Gold Coast and play with the new team, the new venture. You decided to put yourself in the draft.
Yeah, well, obviously there was a, I suppose, structure put in place for the new Gold Coast side where they, had 3 years until, or 2 years, and then they had the third year in the AFL. So, I would have had to have waited 2 years to get a crack at playing AFL. So, and I wanted some change. I wanted to move out of Queensland, and I wanted to, I could have gone anywhere, and I was lucky enough to get, picked up by Collingwood, and I put in a solid pre-season in my first year, and was able to get a game, and I haven't looked back since. Well, before we get to the Collingwood stage, I've got a bit of vision here of you playing under-18s for Queensland, and there you are, number 11, sliding in, as we see you do so often. And there's another player here, number 2 for Gippsland Power. Now, he's just on the right of screen there. There he is, little number 2. Did you know who that was at the time? Yeah.
There he is. You just, there you go, you're tackling him there. Little Jared Blair.
Yeah, we didn't win too many games at the state championships, and so we were actually delegated to play VFL sides, and one of them was Gippsland, and we came up against Blair's mob that day, and I think they actually flogged us. I'm not sure what the margin was, but they belted us, and Blair played well on the day, and he's put on a little bit of size.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah. So he's a bit more stockier now than he was back in that footage.
I'm Peter McKenna.
Peter Gordon Moore, how are you?
I met you before.
Yeah, I think you have, yeah. Yes.
So we're flogging the Legends membership.
The Legends membership, so we're using
Does that guarantee them a grand final ticket?
It does guarantee them a grand final ticket.
I suppose I better read what's there. Just sound a bit up myself, that's all.
So I put time myself.
Do the lot. G'day, it's Peter McKenna here. To become a Collingwood legend, I had to be the leading goal kicker at the club for 8 years straight. I kicked 143 goals in 1970, which is still a club record. That was the same year that I kicked 6 in the grand final. Probably would have kicked a few more if I hadn't been knocked out by my own teammate Des Tuddenham just before half-time. All you have to do to be a Collingwood legend is sign up now, and you'll also secure access to a grand final ticket if Collingwood is playing.
Buy your Legends membership today. But hurry, as there's only a limited number left. Call 1300 Magpie or visit the Collingwood website now.
Yes, a great opportunity to get your hands on a grand final ticket, hopefully for season 2012. Dayne Beams is with us on the club. Dayne, now talking about grand finals, that wonderful success in 2010, but didn't go quite so well last year for you. Tell us about the week leading up to the grand final and your decision to pull out.
Yeah, it was obviously a tough one for myself and the people that were close to me, but the right call was made in the end, and you obviously want to play in those big games, and I always think to myself, if there's any other game, maybe I could push through it, but you just don't want to take the risks that you do in such a big game, and I made the decision, and I'm I have no regrets with it. You had
a groin strain which had hampered you for a little while. Is that something that perhaps motivated you over the pre-season to get right?
Yeah, look, it was important to get away in the pre-season, have that 6 weeks to myself and spend with my family, and I went away and did a couple of things towards the end of the 6 weeks, and so I didn't come back too unfit, and made sure that my body was right and my groin was right, and I went to Arizona, and I had a few little hiccups along the way this pre-season, but I'm playing consistent footy now and feeling better week in.
And you've got more responsibility in the midfield with Luke Ball unfortunately going down. It's meant you've spent more time in there, which has been great for you.
Yeah, look, it's been pretty well publicised about Bally, and it's Buck said to us at the start of the year, we have to get some more output from guys like myself still and Blairy, and with the unfortunate injuries that we've had this year, it's meant guys, he's probably had to come to us even more so now and say we need a little bit more from you. So it's not just us three in particular. It's a lot of the young guys that are coming in and playing their roles. But it's something that we've taken the responsibility, and it's something that we've got to keep doing for the rest of the year now, because we've still got work to do.
And has Luke Ball helped in that process?
Yeah, Bally's been great. The first couple of games I played while he was out, he just sent me a couple of texts after the game, just saying well done. So that gives you good confidence, knowing one of your leaders is happy with obviously what you're doing, and a guy that is so well respected in our club.
Now, traditional game, Queen's birthday, Monday, Melbourne, and mate, they're on a winning roll. Can you stop them?
Yeah, well, they had their first win on the weekend, and I actually watched the last quarter of that game. So I ended up, as funny as it sounds, you end up barracking for them. You just haven't won a game, and
Well, they were playing Essendon, mate.
Yeah, well, Essendon have been a very good side this year. So, and Neildy was at our club last year, so you sort of felt for him a little bit with all the media attention he's been getting. So it was good for them to win on the weekend, but we're certainly not going to let them win again this weekend, hopefully.
Well, mate, good luck. It's going to be a terrific game, so we wish you all the best, and thanks for joining us on the club.
Thanks, mate.
Dayne Beams joining us on the club.